Tomorrow's 2019 is not just a number on the clock. It's not random. It's not a coincidence. It's a signal, a message for those who are awake, a moment that carries weight, precision, and meaning. If you are still waiting for a sign, then stop. It already exists. It has been given. It comes at 2019. And if you miss it, it's not because it didn't arrive. It's because you weren't ready to receive it. You must understand life speaks in quiet ways. The loud noise around you is a distraction. But real messages don't arrive with explosions. They come with moments like tomorrow at 10:19. Simple, precise, clean, and powerful. Ask yourself, what will you be doing when the clock strikes that time? Will you be present? Will you be conscious? Will you be aligned? Or will you be scrolling, complaining, escaping? That time is not about what the world is doing. It's about what you are doing. Who you are in that moment will decide if the message reaches you or passes by. There are certain moments in life that are checkpoints, a subtle test not created to punish you, but to remind you. Are you on the path? Are you still holding yourself accountable? Are you still sharpening your mind, or have you drifted? You know the answer, and tomorrow's 10:19 will reveal it. What happens at 10:19? Maybe nothing outside, but that's not the point. The world doesn't have to shake. You do. You must feel it, not as fear, as focus. You must ask, why does this matter to me? And the answer is simple, because you've asked for change. You've asked for strength. You've asked for truth. And truth doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes wrapped in responsibility. Tomorrow at 10:19, you are being given a moment, a clear space in time where your awareness will either expand or shrink. Don't look for something to happen. Become the one who happens. Become the one who steps in with clarity, who breathes deeply, who sits in stillness and listens, not to the noise outside, but to the signal inside. That's where the power lies. Most people want signs, but they don't prepare for them. They say, show me, but they're not watching. They say, teach me, but they're not listening. They say, I want to grow, but they resist every lesson. So the time passes, the message is missed, the opportunity vanishes, and they stay the same. You are not here to stay the same. You are not here to coast through your days and wait for permission. You are here to rise. And sometimes the rising begins with a simple second, a time that looks like nothing but feels like everything. 10:19 is that second, the second where something inside you either wakes up or stays asleep. You've already felt it, that tension. So that build up like something's about to shift, but you don't know what. That's not anxiety. That's awareness. That's readiness. But readiness must meet action, and action begins with stillness. Stillness at the right moment, a pause that resets your inner compass. So what will you do tomorrow at 10:19? Will you race past it, distracted by the noise in your head, or will you stop? Will you sit down, close your eyes, breathe, and ask, am I aligned? Because that moment won't last long, but what it awakens in you might last forever. You can treat this like another video, or you can treat this like a challenge to take ownership of your path, to stop depending on luck, motivation, or someone else's push. You don't need another push. You need a pause, a deep pause, the kind that splits time into before and after. And tomorrow, 10:19 offers it. What happens after that minute will depend on you. Your thoughts, your focus, your discipline, not the world's reaction, yours. Because if you expect the world to shock you, but you're not prepared to respond with strength, then what's the point? You don't need drama. You need direction. You don't need a sign in the sky. You need a sign in your soul, and you've got it. Now, act like it. 10:19 is not a prediction. It's an invitation. It's a line in the sand. A time that will either pass unnoticed or be marked forever in your memory as the minute you returned to yourself, the minute you finally said, enough drifting, enough doubting, enough delaying, time to focus, time to listen, time to move. So write it down, set your alarm, prepare your mind. When tomorrow comes and the clock says 7:19, don't wait for a miracle. Be one. Most people are looking at tomorrow's 10-10-19 with one question. What will happen? But that's the wrong question. It's not about what happens outside. The real shock won't come from the world. It will come from within. The true change, the true wave, so begins inside you. And that's the part most ignore. If you think something dramatic will fall from the sky, you've missed the message. Because the deepest transformation is quiet. It doesn't make noise. It doesn't break buildings. It breaks illusions. It breaks habits. It breaks that invisible wall between who you are and who you could be. That wall exists inside. And 2019 is coming to shake it. So you've been trained to wait for external chaos, for a sign that confirms what you've already been feeling. But the moment something big hits your life, it's not always life causing it. It's the pressure you've built inside, waiting to be released. 10-19 tomorrow is not about panic. It's about piercing through the distractions, not the ones around you, the ones you created. There are thoughts you've held on to for too long, fears you've allowed to live rent-free in your mind, patterns that repeat not because they're true, but because you've never truly looked them in the eye. Tomorrow, Tatanhanwaindain, you're given the chance to see them clearly, to catch yourself in that exact moment and decide, do I repeat or do I rewrite? This kind of shock doesn't scream, it whispers, but its impact runs deep. It's not about the weather outside or the news, or some event happening in the distance. It's personal, sharp, direct. The world won't notice it, but you will. So you'll feel it in the tension of your breath, in the moment your thoughts suddenly become still, and in the silence that follows. That's where it begins, right there. People say they want to grow, but growth means facing the parts of yourself you've hidden. Growth means responsibility, discipline, and honesty. Most avoid it because it's uncomfortable, but that discomfort, if met head on, becomes power. And tomorrow's 10 feet fine dine is about facing it, not postponing, not escaping, just facing. You can live your life waiting for others to wake you up, or you can learn to wake yourself up on time. And 2019 is exactly that, a time, a mirror. A turning point, if you're aware, it can be the second that everything inside you shifts. If you're asleep, it will just pass. The shock is not the moment. The shock is the realization that the moment was always there, but you never noticed it. The shock is seeing how blind you've been to your own patterns, to your own silence, to your own strength. That's the moment that can break you or make you. 10-19 is not a prediction of destruction. So, it's a mirror showing you how long you've been distracted. Look closely. When the clock strikes, will you even notice it? Or will you be buried in habit, in thought, in noise? This is not about time. It's about presence. If you can't meet the moment fully, you're not living. Living. You're reacting. You're surviving, not evolving. If you want to change your life, don't wait for big things. Change how you meet the small ones. Like Katandi 19, a simple minute. But if you're fully present, that minute can hit harder than 1,000 lectures. You'll realize how little control you had over yourself, how much you were running on autopilot. And that's the beginning of freedom. Be prepared not for an external event, but for an internal one. A collapse of the old way of thinking, a breakdown of false certainty. That kind of collapse is sacred because from it you rebuild. Not as someone who reacts, but as someone who chooses. Someone who decides where to place attention, energy, and time. It's easy to fear the unknown, but the real fear is fearing yourself, fearing the truth of what you've avoided. That's why most people numb themselves, so they don't feel the shock when it comes. But you're not here to be numb. You're to feel it. You're here to stand in that second fully awake and say, I see what I've been doing and I'm ready to change. Don't overthink it. Set your focus. When tomorrow's 10-19 arrives, stop everything. Breathe. Listen. Not outside, inside. The guidance won't come from voices. It will come from the shift, from the clarity that hits you when you're truly still. That second is pure. It's clean. And if you meet it with presence, it will change you. Remember, nothing outside you has the power to wake you up unless you allow it. And once you do, the world doesn't have to shock you anymore because you've already done it yourself. That's what Tanti 19 is. A sacred jolt, not to your schedule, but to your soul. Tomorrow's Tanti 19 is not meant for the unprepared. It's not a surprise for the one who's been walking the path. It's not a shock for the one who has already chosen discipline over distraction. Because the one who is prepared doesn't wait for moments. They meet them. They are already in motion. And when Tanti 19 comes, they don't flinch. They breathe, they align, they act. Preparation is not built in the moment, it's built before, in silence, in repetition, in choices nobody else sees. And that's why tomorrow, when 2099 arrives, some will panic and some will be still. Some will look around confused and others will stand firm. The difference isn't luck, it's training. People think preparation means knowing what will happen. But true preparation means being stable even when you don't. The world can shift, circumstances can flip, but the prepared one is rooted. And that root wasn't formed yesterday. It was built day by day, choice by choice. Tomorrow's 10-7 line din doesn't create strength, it reveals it. You don't prepare in the storm. You prepare before it. When it's quiet, when no one's watching, when it's easier to drift. So that's where the real work is. And that's why most people get shocked by life because they've done everything except prepare. They want peace but practice chaos. They want focus but train distraction. Then when the moment comes, they freeze and they call it fate. But it's not fate. It's simply the cost of neglect. You're not here to live on autopilot. You're not here to get caught off guard. You are here to build yourself into someone who's already ready before the moment comes. So, someone who doesn't need to be reminded every time something matters, because you already decided that everything matters, especially the small things, especially the hidden moments, like tomorrow's Tansi 19. This isn't about becoming paranoid. It's about becoming precise, living with awareness, training your mind to stay sharp even when things seem ordinary. Because 2019 may look like just another minute, but for the one who's awake, it's a door, a trigger, a clean second of complete clarity. And the one who's prepared won't miss it. They won't need to ask Wesk what it means. They'll already know because they've been preparing for it long before it arrived. You must understand the world respects the disciplined. Life gives its secrets to the one who's paying attention. But if you show up to 10-19, half asleep, half committed, half in, you will not receive what it offers. You'll walk past the doorway unaware it even opened. And the worst part, you'll never know what you missed. That's why this isn't about waiting for something dramatic to happen. It's about becoming dramatic with your inner standards, dramatic with your choices, with your focus, not because someone's watching, but because you are, because you've had enough of being shaken by every shift outside you. And now you want to become unshakable. So what does it mean to be already in motion? It means you've been practicing stillness before it was needed. It means you've been cleaning the mind before it became cloudy. It means your steps are not reactions, they're decisions made ahead of time, made with clarity, made with silence. When Tentanandan arrives, there won't be time to prepare. There will only be time to respond. And the quality of your response depends on what you've been doing before the clock ever struck. So don't wait. Train now. Decide now. Who will you be in that moment? Someone surprised by life or someone leading their life. Stop telling yourself that you'll start tomorrow because tomorrow is already scheduled. Tina Sin 19 is already on its way. You're not waiting for it, it's waiting for you. And when it comes, you will either rise into it or recoil from it. And the gap between those two is everything. What you do tonight matters. What you think when you wake up matters. What you practice in the quiet matters. The prepared one doesn't need an audience. They don't need applause. They need only one thing, alignment, internal alignment. Because when the world shakes, Alignment is what holds everything together. If you want to walk into 10 mundane with strength, start moving now. Not with noise, not with panic, with precision, with discipline, with presence. Begin subtracting everything unnecessary, everything that makes your mind weak. Begin eliminating distraction like it's poison, because it is. Begin sitting in silence like it's sacred, because it is. The shock of 2019 won't come from what you see. It will come from what you realize. That everything you needed was already inside you. So, and the only reason you didn't feel it before was because you weren't still enough to notice. Now is the time to become still. Now is the time to prepare, not to escape, not to hide, but to meet the moment with open eyes and calm breath. Because tomorrow at 10:19, life won't ask if you're ready. It will simply arrive. And you must decide whether you will answer as the prepared one or the panicked one. Tomorrow's 10:99 will not wait for noise. It will not compete with shouting minds. It will come in silence. And the one who is still will hear it. The one who is calm will feel it. The one who is centered will understand it. Because the power of the moment is not in what it brings, it is in how you meet it. People are addicted to panic. They think movement means progress. They confuse noise with importance. But when life truly speaks, it speaks in silence. It doesn't need drama. It needs awareness. And tomorrow, when the clock hits 10:19, you will see who is truly prepared, not the loud one, not the busy one, but the quiet one, the one who breathes before reacting, the one who observes before assuming, the one who listens before speaking. The panic you see in the world is a reflection of inner disorder. And that same disorder blinds people. It makes them deaf to clarity. So when a moment like 10:19 arrives, they miss it, not because it wasn't loud enough, but because they were too loud inside. You must understand this. If your mind is filled with chaos, you cannot receive precision. Stillness is not weakness, it is mastery. It is the highest form of power. The one who is still in the storm is the one who leads others out of it. When everything moves, you must become unmoved. When people scream, you must go quiet, not out of fear, but out of control. That is the mark of someone who has trained themselves. So ask yourself what happens inside you when the unknown appears, when tension rises. When Tandai Windin comes and the air feels different, will you pause? Or will you panic? That's the choice. And that choice will determine everything. The world reacts, the awakened one responds. Response is grounded in clarity. Panic is born in confusion. And the gap between those two is preparation. It is self-mastery. And it starts now, not at 10:19, but before it. Tomorrow, when that second arrives, many will be overwhelmed. Their thoughts will spiral. Their emotions will spike. But you must not join them. You must remain. Stay, breathe, do nothing. That is the lesson. Let the world tremble if it must, but you stay unshaken. True strength is not shown in action, it is shown in restraint. When you want to react but choose to hold. When you want to explain but choose silence. When everything inside screams for escape but you stay. That is control. That is growth. That is what tomorrow's 10:19 will demand from you. And make no mistake, it will test you. It will not ask politely. It will present a choice. React or remain. Collapse or contain. Be loud or be clear. You will feel the pressure. You will feel the urge to match the world's energy. But you must resist because the moment does not belong to noise. It belongs to stillness. Stillness is not doing nothing. It is doing exactly what is needed and nothing more. It is not laziness. It is mastery over movement. It is when your breath becomes your anchor and your mind becomes your ally. That is when clarity arrives. That is when the message reveals itself. And only then, if you go into tomorrow expecting a voice from the sky, you will miss the voice already within you. The message is not out there. It is inside. But it cannot be heard through panic. It can only be heard through presence. You must make space for it. Clear the noise. Clear the distraction. Step back from the storm and become the eye of it. Let others run in circles. Let others search for answers in noise. You sit still. When the minute strikes 10 and then Yan Fen Yan, feel your breath. Notice your heartbeat. Feel the weight of your body against the earth. You don't need to know what will happen. You only need to be present for it. Fully, completely. Without fear. Without rush, without escape. There is a reason the most powerful beings remain silent. It's not because they have nothing to say. It's because they know when to speak and when not to. You must become that. Learn when action is needed and when awareness is enough. Chante Din will teach you that if you are willing to learn. But you must be ready now, not when the time comes. You must train your stillness. Practice your breath. Watch your thoughts. Let them rise. Let them fall. But do not attach. Do not follow. Just watch. That is how you prepare. That is how you become the one who is not shocked, not shaken, but steady. Tomorrow's Tenlin Din will come. It will not wait for you to be ready. It will arrive with or without your permission. So meet it in silence. Meet it with strength. Let your stillness speak louder than panic ever could, because that is where your real power lives. Not in how loud you are, but in how deeply you can listen. Tomorrow's 10-19 will not be shaped by chance. It will be shaped by your preparation. What happens at that exact moment won't depend on the world. It will depend on you. On the way you've trained your mind, your thoughts, your reactions. If you have built yourself with discipline, 10-19 will serve you. If you've neglected yourself, it will expose you. Your discipline decides what that second becomes. Most people live waiting for signs, but they never prepare for them. So they want breakthroughs without work, transformation without structure. But when the moment finally arrives, like tomorrow's 10-1 they are not ready to receive it. So it passes, not because it had no power, but because they brought no presence to it. You bring meaning to the moment, not the other way around. So discipline isn't something you show in public. It's something you practice when no one is watching. So it's in the way you control your breathing when your emotions rise. It's in the way you choose your thoughts when the noise becomes too loud. It's in your ability to do what's right, not what's easy. And if you've been consistent, then tomorrow's 10-19 will not overwhelm you. It will reveal the strength you've been silently building. That 1 minute will test you without warning. It will arrive like any other. No alarms, no announcers, 10-19. But in that time, you will be measured not by the world, not by anyone else, but by yourself. Will you meet that moment with awareness? Or will you reach for escape? Will you feel centered and ready? Or will you scramble to make sense of what's happening? Your answer is already being formed right now in the choices you make, in the habits you follow, in the state of mind you live in. People think the shock is external, but the real shock is internal. It's when you realize that your own lack of discipline is the reason you missed your moment. It's when you see clearly how much you've delayed, avoided, distracted yourself. And that realization, if you allow it, can either break you or rebuild you. That is the purpose of 10-19. Not to entertain you, not to confuse you, but to confront you. You can't fake preparation. Either you have it or you don't. And if you don't, the moment will show you. But that's not a punishment. That's a wake up. If you choose to see it that way, it can change your life. Not because 10-19 is magic, but because you chose to take responsibility for how you met it. If your mind is full of resistance, 10-19 will feel heavy. If your body is tense and reactive, 10-19 will increase the pressure. But if you have trained yourself, trained in awareness, in calmness, in restraint, then 10-19 will become an opportunity, a second of alignment, a second of truth. The world does not owe you peace. Life does not slow down to match your pace. You either raise your level or you stay behind. And moments like 10-19 exist to check if you've done the inner work. They exist to remind you that time is not the enemy. It's the mirror. It reflects exactly what you've become. If you've been making excuses, you'll feel exposed. If you've been showing up for yourself, you'll feel empowered. That's how simple it is. Your discipline writes the script for that moment. No luck, no mystery, just clarity. And clarity only comes from commitment. It comes from sacrifice, from waking up early when no one asks you to, from saying no to distractions that offer comfort but steal your growth, from sitting in silence when others run to noise. That's the training. That's the preparation. And it always pays off. The ones who rise in 10-line are the ones who never waited for the perfect time. They trained when it was hard. They practiced when it was boring. They stayed consistent when no one clapped for them. So when the clock hits 10-line, they don't panic. They breathe, they observe, they move without resistance. And that's what you must aim for, not perfection, just readiness. A readiness that only discipline can give you. A readiness that doesn't ask what's going to happen, but instead says, whatever comes, I'm ready. Because when life gives you moments of power, it doesn't give them twice. They arrive once. And if you're not ready, they vanish. You don't get another 10-day 19 tomorrow. You get this one. And how it lives in your memory depends entirely on how you meet it. So begin now. Right now. Do not waste today. Sit with your mind. Clean your thoughts. Tighten your focus. And when tomorrow comes, and Tandiledine appears, you will know exactly what to do. You won't need guidance. You won't need noise. You will simply respond. Calm, care, certain. That's the gift of discipline. And that's the message of 10-19. Tomorrow's 10-19 is not coming to warn you twice. It is the final reminder before action begins. It is the last moment you will be given to wake up, to align, to stop pretending you have endless time. There will not be another message. There will not be another chance to delay. 2019 is the line between your excuses and your evolution. Once it arrives, you either step across it or you stay behind. Life has been speaking to you for a long time, quietly, patiently, through signs you ignored, through opportunities you postponed, through moments you dismissed as coincidence. But the patience of life is not infinite. It tests you again and again until the test becomes the consequence. Tomorrow at 10-9, the test and the consequence become the same. That is why it matters. That is why it is final. You must understand how rare these moments are. Most of the time, life flows without pressure. It lets you drift if you choose to drift, but then it places a checkpoint, a moment that calls you to act, to decide, to fully show up. This is one of those moments. And the truth is, it may not feel dramatic from the outside, but it will be, because it will show you without a single word whether you are ready or not. There is no comfort in waiting. Waiting is the silent killer of growth. Tells you there will always be a better time, a more convenient moment, a safer space. But those thoughts are lies. They are traps. If you keep believing them, you will arrive at 10-19 tomorrow unprepared. And when that moment passes, you will know it. You will feel it. You will regret not acting sooner. This is why you must treat 10-19 as sacred. It is not simply another minute in your day. It is the closing of a chapter and the opening of another. And you have a choice: step forward with courage or remain where you are. Repeating the same cycles you already know too well. Some will think, I will wait to see what happens. That is the thinking of someone who never changes, because 10-line is not about what happens outside. It is about what happens inside you. If you wait for something external to push you, you will always be late. You will always be behind. The ones who transform are the ones who decide before they are forced. Tomorrow's 10-19 is an invitation, but it is also a demand. It will not wait for your comfort. It will not adjust itself to your schedule. It will arrive at the exact time with or without your permission. And when it does, you must be clear, who am I going to be now? Am I the person who listens, who acts, who stops delaying? Oh. Or am I the one who keeps running from the truth? There is nothing more powerful than a decision made fully. And that is what this moment is about. It is about choosing. choosing to face yourself, choosing to stop escaping, choosing to break the habits and fears that have kept you small. If you do not choose at 10:39, the world will choose for you, and its choice will not wait for your approval. This is why presence matters so much. You cannot make a strong decision if you are half asleep, distracted, lost in thought. At 10:11, your mind must be clear, your heart must be open. Your breath must be steady, because that is the only way you will feel the weight of the moment and respond with strength. Do not underestimate how quickly time moves. Minutes vanish, days disappear, years blur together, and suddenly you look back and realize you missed the one moment that could have changed everything. Do not let tomorrow's done and died in be that moment. Do not let it pass while you are occupied with things that do not matter. You already know what needs to be done. You have known for a long time. The hesitation, the excuses, the overthinking, they are not helping you. They are chains. Break them. Use 10:19 as the point where you decide that enough is enough. Enough waiting, enough doubting, enough living below your potential. It is time to move. This is not about perfection. It is about presence. When the clock strikes 10:19 tomorrow, stop whatever you are doing. Feel the breath in your body. Feel the stillness in your mind, and make a decision that you will not go back to who you were before this minute. Because if you can do that, then 10:19 will not just be a time. It will be the moment your life shifted. Do not wait for the world to confirm this for you. Do not wait for signs after this. This is the sign. This is the last reminder. When the clock turns to 10:19 tomorrow, remember these words: action begins now. And once it begins, do not stop.